Hello and welcome to a Goals Eye View. I'm joined by two people this week. I'm joined by Tom.
Hello.
And Dom.
Hello, Simon. All right.
Yeah, not bad. So we'll do the usual stuff. We'll go through the Kings Lynn game, which Tom was at, and then we'll go for the power rankings and the preview for the next game. So Tom, what were your thoughts on the Kings Lynn game as you were there?
Ugly win. Very ugly win. A game that started with a real lack of quality, but thankfully we took a hold of with Danny Wright's two goals. Two, well taken goals as well. First one, long throw marks. Danny gets his head on it. Keeper should probably do better.
Yeah.
And the second one was the sort of finish that we've sort of come to expect from Wright in the last few years. Got in a good position, beat the keeper at the near post, and then annoyingly let them in it again just at the half time. A poor goal to concede.
Yeah, it was an awful goal to concede, wasn't it?
Yeah, but and we started the second half quite poorly as well. But thankfully, a great goal by Duke Mckenna, somewhat controversially if you're Stephen Cleeve in the Kings Lynn faithful, but a very well taken finish.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Probably the best. Well, I say it was the best goal of the game. Their second goal was an absolute stunner. No one was saving that. Yeah. And we held on for the last half hour. It was really, we keep saying it, don't we? We tend to sit back a lot and invite the pressure. And thankfully, we managed to hold on and get 3 very important points.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was following the game on commentary and just from looking at the sort of the highlights. I think, the goals were well taken. It's just a long throw. That Paul Jones, he made a mistake against us this season, and in the 2008 playoff semi-final for Exeter, same keeper. So he must.
Oh, he hit it against Zabrowski, did he?
Yeah, I love playing that bloke. Because that's
it was a bit of a patter. It was a bit of a patter cake save, wasn't it?
It was.
Any strong keeper would have hit that away, wouldn't they? Really. I mean, it was a good header, but
and the second goal again. It's very well taken. He left a bit of space at the front post, but that's what we expect from Wright's finish.
That was a good team goal, that though, Tom, wasn't it?
Nice,
I mean, it was a nice ball through from Connor. So.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see us try. The pitch wasn't the best, but it was good to see us playing it across well. And I keep saying, I think Wright is still a useful asset for us if used in the right way.
I agree.
Recently, he's had to play, the solo front man, and obviously. He just doesn't have the legs that he used to have. But when he did all the stuff you would expect from Danny Wright in the past. His ball control was fantastic. The way he was just able to hold up play was physical. And it was a really good performance from Danny. I was really impressed.
What I like to see on the highlights is there was a lot of running off the ball. So when he was getting it,
that's the difference.
There was somebody on the left, there was somebody on the right to pass to, because a couple of games he's just been isolated.
There's no point sticking right up front and just having no one running off him. What is he meant to do? It doesn't matter if he's 37, 27, 17. It doesn't make a difference. So I think that's been our problem at times this season. We've looked at a few players.
Perhaps against the better teams, they've squeezed space, and we've just been a bit too conservative. We were going for it a bit more on Saturday, by the sound of it, and we should do against Kings Lynn, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean,
he was absolutely shattered at full time. He put in a real shift. Obviously, he was less effective as the second half went on, but. He put in a real good shift.
I'm surprised he wasn't subbed, really. He does tend to play 90 minutes, doesn't he?
Holman came up front with him. And I suddenly thought, apart from the disastrous start, we haven't actually seen Wright and Holman. The partnership meant to. We've gone more one up front. Did they play as two strikers, or was it kind of like Holman was off him?
I think he was more off him than up front, because I think at that time it was just to kind of shore up the result. I was surprised they didn't bring Asa didn't come on, because I thought that would have helped. Holman, I don't know about him, he's got a worldie in him, but a lot of the games I've seen, he just, I don't know, I don't quite see what he offers. But
Dan, as he just hasn't got particular skill. He's not very fast, so unless he can get the ball to him, plenty of space to have a shot,
both of them.
He's just not influencing the game, is he?
I agree. Yeah. You can't play them as lone strikers. This isn't a Torquay problem. This is a general football problem into the Premier League. The reason that top clubs, and not just non-league clubs, struggle to get strikers is because strikers of old played 2 up front. You can get more goals. When now it's 1 up front, and that you need to have good constant supply like that. So I think that's what's happened. We've moved away from 2 striker formations.
I think we have. Yeah, they played together at the start of the season. There was very little.
They were just pinging like long balls to them at the end of the day, so they couldn't do anything.
It just didn't work.
It didn't work at all.
It was a bit of a chance by Gary Johnson to try and make the partnership work, but 5 or 6 years later, even National League football's moved on a bit, hasn't it?
It has, it has. It's not about percentages as much anymore, which is why we don't see 2 strikers. But I think as a game overall, any individual things that are good and bad from the game, or just how was Alioma? That's what you say.
Any excuse to mention
Alioma. Do you know, he did the job that I wanted him to do, and was he brilliant? No, but at the same time, he did what he was required. He got won some headers, got the ball away. I think he was at fault for maybe a couple of efforts that Kings Lynn had, but I mean, obviously you'd rather have Lewis back there. Yeah, but I think he is a handy player. It's one that from the start of the season I was like, I don't think he's good enough for the National League, but I think it's one that I would like to maybe see and keep over the summer.
I would definitely take him on just as a squad player, because I think he is growing well. He just needs games. Would he benefit from a loan in the south or north? Most probably yes, but it's no point giving a contract if you're just going to ping him out for a year, is it? So
if he's going to be a Torquay centre half, you need to have 3 or 4 of them, don't you? So I don't think he'll really be loaned out, will he? If he stays, he'll be a squad player. So. And
I just want to say a word on Duke Mckenna as well. I thought he was my man of the match, my personal man of the match. I mean, the way he took his goal was brilliant, and he's just impressed me game on game. Yeah, you can tell he's come from a very good footballing academy, and I think there's big things in his future.
I agree. No, you could definitely. It's like Randall, isn't it? He just has that bit more. We have like one to sort of play. He had a fantastic debut, but he's just not quite with his own product. Where Chip Mckenna, that goal, if you look at it, when it's been brought down off Wright's arm, and
allegedly,
and legally in this day and age, it's legally. And
if you say so,
in the modern day rules, which change all the time. Yeah. But it's not just like he's not just gone, right, I need to shoot. It's gone, right, I'm going to shoot. I need to change my mindset. I'm going to skill him, and then I'm going to shoot. A lot of players panic in that situation. That's the difference. Is just that split decision making, which he has in abundance. So, yeah,
he's got a great instinct. Yeah. He's got a great instinct to get in the game when he can get hold. Really busy sort of player.
Another quick word on Sean McDonald as well. He made some very good saves. Yeah, and
it felt like a very long second half, Thomas. To be honest,
it was just like the journey. It was just like the journey up there, a long journey. But all the more sweeter in the end.
Got a bit bumpy towards the end.
Yeah. But just a quick word, Mr. Cleve, if you're watching this, and I sincerely hope you are, but I doubt you are. We know the referees in the National League are terrible.
Yeah,
we've experienced it firsthand
in the playoff final.
Just watch the playoff final, for example. Yeah. We know they are crap. We know. There's no need for you to go on a Twitter, I won't say rampage, but like an angry Twitter moment, pointing out and actually posting videos on your club's social media, slowing it all down. Just referees are crap.
I'd like to disagree with that, because I found it entertaining, mate. Yeah. I mean, it's not classy at all, so you shouldn't do it.
It's worrying, because I was like, this is how petty I would be if I was a football manager or football owner or chairman.
Yeah,
but that is so unbelievable. It just sums up Kings Lynn.
He's got to be in his bonnet all the time. That chap, doesn't he?
Weird bloke. Especially you do a background check.
They have more than enough chances to score more goals. You didn't take them. You've ended up losing the game. Thank you for the 3 points. Enjoy wherever the National League North or South, wherever you're going next season.
And he's not in charge of the Chelsea PR, is
he? and enjoy charging, what was it, £70 per ticket in the National League North? That's a bit against with Kings Lynn. That's just there's everything about him. Anyway, it's just one normal day in the National League. It's all you ask for.
Oh no, that's
honestly,
boring, Sam.
Honestly, like it's just such a nuts league. Anyway, moving to the next section of this power rankings. So this is, if you've never watched this before, voted by us and viewers, readers, whatever you want to call. They kind of voted their top 5 players of the last 3 games, and then we kind of put like a top 10. So I'll start with 10th, 9th, and 8th. So in 10th place, we've got Joe Lewis. He has been suspended. He served a suspension in King's Lynn and was sent off in the previous game. What's your thoughts about him, Dom?
Just clinging on to the top 10, isn't he, really? But he's been so good this season. I think people thought, I'll still put him in. Just give him a vote or 2, but just clinging on. But he'll be back on Saturday, won't he? Hopefully, so he'll soon start pushing up that 10 again, won't he? Without hesitation, I'm sure.
And now into 9th. I don't know if you agree with me, Tom, and Don, but like Little's there, and I find it a bit mad that Little's like this low. I think because there's such high expectations. Like he's been every game. Like when I watch the highlights, you probably tell me better, Tom. But King's Lynn, he was still like influential. He's so influential in the team, so I'm surprised he's 9th. Yeah. But unless he's scoring every game and getting 5 assists, everyone just goes, "Oh, they'll just not up to it." So
yeah, I think you've summed that up in one, Sam.
Is there an issue having him and him and Connor in the same team?
So there's a lot, haven't we? Yes and
no. Is one making the chances and one's not quite getting as much of the ball? I don't know really. I'm just not sure it kind of works.
You wouldn't want either of them out of our squad at the moment, though.
They might not be in the team, but it's working.
Little's about being lying, isn't it? Little's all about bringing the ball out from midfield. Then Ivans is about feeding it in front of the strikers in front of the midfield. So I think the manager like Gary Johnson and Aaron Downs will make it work. But you're right. I think at times they do benefit from having the ball more. So
and of course they both like to go central, so it kind of just makes us a bit lacking in width, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the thing with Little as well is his set pieces weren't particularly brilliant. King's Lynn, we know he's got it in his locker to score. Like the free kicks we've seen him score this season, but I don't know. A lot of the time.
The thing
we've
about
seen it this season, haven't we?
I think it's an instruction. I think they're told to sort of float it in, because so that when it arrives, the centre back can hit it with more pace. But there's more like room for that to go wrong. If you just ping it in, there's a chance it can go anywhere. But when he gets it right and it catches it right, then it's more chance we score. It's a weird thing. Like I kept going, why is he taking his corners and set pieces like that? But someone next to me went, oh well, he's definitely told to do it like that. So I don't know, but it doesn't always work.
We'd love to see a bit more pace and whip on the crosses, wouldn't we? That's what people really get worried about. And that high looping something, and defenders can just get out and try and head those away, can't they? So he's not playing badly, man. He's just lost a bit of that sparkle from early in the season, I think.
He's coming from that injury as well.
I think it's more we know the talent he's got.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think it's same with Lemon Evans. I think I think Johnson Downs have it. They're definitely working right with both of them. But you're right, like Lemon Evans, they like to go in the middle more, and that can kind of cause issues, and we make it a bit narrower and a bit predictable. But going up to 8th, the public puts Ali Omar 8th, and it wasn't me voting a lot of times, but they put in 8th. So then Ali, in his 1.5 games of the last 3, you all rated that in the line little. So there we go.
You can take this, Tom.
You're
going to go on this, Tom? You saw him for 90 minutes on Saturday. You said he looked pretty solid, didn't you?
He was solid. He's a developing player, isn't he? Like from where he was when he started to now, he's improved so much, but there's still a lot of the game that he needs to learn. I think he's a useful backup to what we've got.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I think, I'd like to see him stay over the summer, because I think there is a good player in there. But I think there's just some parts of this game he still needs to improve on.
A bit naive at times.
He just almost needs to build up his understanding of the game, where to be.
He doesn't read the game that well.
He's a pretty slow player, isn't he? But if you're understanding the game and positioning's good, you can get over that, can't you?
I think a great example remember Robbie Cundy, who's just fair play for, made his debut in the Championship. I remember when he arrived at Torquay, he was amazing for the first month. And then he kind of, the Torquay's team, the whole team dipped. But he kind of got into this thing where he's like, right, the difference between Championship and non-league for example, is they read the game better, so they don't need to apply as much effort. But what Cundy was doing, he hadn't built that knowledge, and he was kind of being a bit like lackadaisical, like, oh, I don't need to run as fast to get to this, I can read it better. But he doesn't have an understanding. I thought with Omar, he needs to have that understanding, which Cundy now clearly has, because he's done well in League 2, League 1 and the Championship. So it's just building that game thing. You know what's coming more. He just needs games and games. I feel like
centre back is such a crucial position.
It is,
in the
yeah.
field.
You can't be a bit weak. You can't be a bit weak and sort of lose your man once and gamble, because you gamble and your defence don't go with you. But I feel with Omar, I think there might be a thing. He's a big lad. He might have got through youth football just being strong and getting people off the ball, which meant he didn't have to learn the game as well. And as soon as he's going to the National League for the first time, these people are as strong as him and have a lot more skill than people probably have engagement like wise in games than youth football. So I think he's had to go for that period of, I can't just get away with being a big strong lad now. I've got to read the game properly as well. So I think that's what.
But I'll tell you what though, he'll give it 100% every time.
And he will be the first man to celebrate when there's a goal. Honestly, have you seen every highlight? He's with like whoever scored first. So moving into.
And you want that you.
Go on.
So if necessary, we've got a new Gilbert the goal, haven't we?
Yeah.
If it comes to it.
But that's what you want, that sort of individual in a team, don't you? Some, he's a nice lad.
He's a good guy, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, I love him. He's brilliant. Yeah. And he gets the fans on his side as well.
Yeah.
So going into
good job.
Yeah, going to mid-table, there was a lot of these people all basically tied. So I'm just going to go for all 4 names and we discuss them. So Wright is in 7th, Lem Evans is in 6th, Moxie's in 5th, and Laps is in 4th. So these people really tied together. Wright, I think we've discussed earlier in this episode, he's outstanding.
Striker in the top 10, hurrah!
Yeah, that's the first in a long time. Yeah, well done, Danny Wright. He's been brilliant in that last game. Hopefully he can start. He's got a bit more confidence in his body. We're talking about, when you're injured a lot, maybe he just didn't quite have that.
He's been in and out a lot this season. Yeah. It's tough to get going.
Yeah,
it really is tough to get going at his age.
The test is against Halifax. We're going to have Wright versus Waters. Obviously, 2 totally different players. But and then Lemni Evans, he's just been solid. We know there's more. That's miss. There's a big miss in the first half, wasn't it? Like 4th minute, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was really early on. Should have scored.
Was bouncing up a little bit, wasn't it? Yeah. He just didn't get over it at all, did he? Yeah.
Not as bad of a miss as the Altrincham one, but
he's setting high standards on misses.
Yeah. He also had a foul throw in the second half. Like schoolboy stuff, like finding a week's wages for us,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's my fault with his misses because I said after Barnett, we've got, I think in the TORQUAYTALK chat, I was like, we've got a finisher. Who needs a striker, mate? He's just finished 2. He's a proper striker. And then I see that miss, I'm like, I should shut up. But so them 2, nice partnership still. We know what they can do. Not too much to write home about. We've got to judge them against Halifax, really, if they, bring the goods. Going into Moxie, solid. He's been playing left back. Obviously, we know he's probably better suited as a centre back this season. He's going to be strong in the tackle, and it's not as reliant on pace. But I don't feel like it's not like the playoff final when he's just targeted. I don't know. What was it like against Kingston, Tom? Was he like, did he felt a bit out of place or on that side?
I mean, he had a good game. I definitely didn't think he was, bad or anything. He was solid. Yeah. His long throws were a threat. Yeah, obviously, Danny Wright on the end of the first goal. I had no complaints. I thought he had a really solid.
We do struggle for words about Dean on this. I think
because he's so a model. And Winter, who we're getting a bit. He's just a model professional who's consistent. You know what you're getting from him.
Brings that experience to the team. Brings that experience to the team as well. He was communicating a lot with Omar during the game as well, which is good to see.
Yeah. That is good. And then going to Lapsey, who's 4th. He's done. Everyone loves Tom Lapsey, don't they?
I did say he was a bit poorer against Kingston. Yeah, he did have a stormer, didn't he, against Burnley? So.
When I watched the highlights, I did notice him giving the ball away a few times. Was that a fair representative of the game?
Yeah, it wasn't as good. It wasn't his best game. I mean, again, he gives it his all, doesn't he? But
almost like the more possession we have in the game,
I was about to get to that.
The odds are in favour. It doesn't quite suit him.
I agree. When we have
give me give me 10 men against Bromley, bang, roll your sleeves up.
Yeah, exactly.
The best player in the field, but it can go the other way. With
I
Tom,
feel like when we need to break a team down, he does struggle a bit. Like when we play Stockport and Notts County, he's the first name on the team sheet if he's fit, because he's going to be up for it. Those big occasions. If we went to Football League, he would be in the team every week because he's ready for it. But in these games where you're playing these semi-pro people who work hard, I don't know, he just seems a bit lax with his passes.
It's just where you want him to make a few passes and cross your balls. He does struggle to do that sort of thing. He really doesn't.
Because the odds aren't against him, if that makes sense. When you're playing with 10 men, you're playing Bromley, you can run past 5 people, he's going to do it. But if you're playing against Kings Lynn and they're sat back, it's like, oh, come on, we're part-time, you're full-time. He sort of struggles a bit, doesn't he?
It's just he just likes a good old-fashioned roll your sleeves up battle, doesn't he? I think that's his name. But he'll give it all as usual, Tom, doesn't he, I suppose. So
it just wasn't, it just wasn't his day against Kings Lynn, really. Like, he'll have much better games than that, but like Omar, he'll give it its all.
I always prefer him in the team than not, of course. Breaking the top 3, Ben Winter. We're going to say the same thing every week. Just brilliant.
We're slowly edging him up the 10, aren't we? We are.
He deserves it, honestly. So centre back again, wasn't he, at the weekend?
Yes.
It was one. I know it's not to the power. How was Troy Johnson? That's me.
Yeah. I'm sure he tried hard, but I didn't really notice him all that. I didn't really notice him all that much, to be honest.
Nobody ever talks about Troy. He's
not bad, but he's not like, you don't think, he definitely give him a contract next season.
Sort of blink and you'll miss him kind of guy, isn't he? But he does fill in and do his best, doesn't he?
I think we compare him to Winter. That's the problem. Winter's had a lot of games under his belt and been there a lot of time, but I still don't know whether I give him a contract next season or not.
I'm leaning on probably not at the moment.
I think we can get better in that area.
He probably ends up in the National League South next
season.
He
is a self-standard player, but it's just whether we can get enough out of him to be a squad player in the National League.
That's not to disrespect his qualities, but he's just not quite up to that level to be a proper National League player, I don't think. But, he's not for effort. He's competitive. He'll get himself around and make tackles and do some balls, but just very little quality on the ball. It doesn't help.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. I just noticed we had 10 minutes left of the Zoom, so I was going to be like, oh, we have 10 minutes left of the Zoom, but then you both stopped talking. So while we have 9 minutes left, we'll go on to number 2, Duke Mckenna. We've touched it already in this video. And number 1, McDonald's. They're just absolute class. So
going into the category of fans' favourite, Duke, isn't he? Very quickly.
Yeah, those lone players you shouldn't get attached to, but we have got attached to. So thank you, Queen's Park Rangers, again for him. We have Sinclair around Duke. And then McDonald first, again, he just deserves it. He's outstanding.
Yeah, brilliant, isn't he?
Going to need number 1 for the rest of the season at this rate, isn't it?
Yeah. So going to the preview, we've got Halifax at the weekend, even though I did almost call the last video Kings Lynn, even though the preview, no, we'll cut it out. So going into Halifax.
Pressure was getting to yourself.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, sure. I called it. I thought we were playing Halifax last weekend, so I'm not sure.
FC Halifax. FC Halifax.
Yes. Thank you.
FC Halifax Town.
Yeah. So going into FC Halifax Town away, as I've just been reminded, not just Halifax, tough game, but a game that the pressure's not quite on us, and it's a game where if we slip a result, all the people I always say the season's over until it is over, because I don't want to get my hopes up. But it's a result, a game where if we get a win there, all of a sudden it's like, going into the Stockport and Notts game.
I'm not raising a few eyebrows again.
It will start, and then we're all going to get our hopes up again. I'm saying, as much as I like this team, as much as I think Johnson Down's done a brilliant job getting the most out of this team, I'm still on the fence of, no, it's, of course it's reachable, the playoffs, but I just wouldn't want to put that pressure on, and say, no, we have to win every game.
It's unlikely. It's unlikely. With this football club, you never know, do you? I mean, you only have to be in the playoffs. You keep
telling me it's impossible every week, Tom. So I'm just riding out your sort of optimism here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you only have to finish in the playoff, zone once in a season, and if it means to be the last game of the season, I don't, it's going to be difficult. We've got some really tough games coming up, but I think a win I think if we win on Saturday, like Dom said, I think we'll start raising a few eyebrows, and it'll be this.
We'll just suddenly get a bit more optimistic.
I think the thing that we have now, which is nice, is that we go into Halifax, Stockport, and Notts County. No pressure, because we're basically out the playoff race. They're the ones struggling to try and get. I mean, Stockport win the league by a mile, but like Notts County's got the pressure on them. Halifax have been brilliant all season, started to be a bit up and down now, a bit like we were last season, albeit about a month difference. But like we have no pressure on us, and I think this could really help. We get results out of these games, and also I'm not saying we're going to, but I think it's quite enjoyable again.
I just hope we can play with a bit more attacking intent.
I just hope we do ourselves
at home against Boreham and Bromley. We're just a bit conservative. I just want us to be not so worried about losing the game and just go to win it. I think we do need to win these.
I'd rather lose this game fighting rather than these games fighting and be competitive rather than just have a dull 0-0, 1-0 defeat. I know it sounds stupid, but at this stage,
Halifax are a good team though.
The very good team. I mean, they absolutely battered us. That 3-2 scoreline was the most flattering goal scoreline of all season, because it should have been like 5-6.
Nearly nicked a point from it though.
Yeah, we did. That was a long.
And we weren't. That was us playing really poorly. Like you said, I want us to be attacking. I want us to give it a go. I mean, especially now. Like, yes, the playoffs could be a thing, but at the moment, it just seems that bit too far away.
Yeah, just enjoy the season and be competitive in these teams.
Yeah, plus if there's goals in games, it just gets people to come through the gates a bit more, doesn't it? If it's like a 0-0, it's just it's hard to sell the next game to these supporters who don't usually come. So
whilst we might have the last 5 minutes, as Zoom keeps telling me in the corner, have you got your stats ready, Tom, for Halifax and all that stuff?
Well, they've won 4 out of the last 5, but they are playing. They are playing as we speak. So
are they?
They're playing Bromley as well.
Bromley on a Tuesday night, so that could change things. But
that'll be.
They are on a very good run. Yeah, very good run. They sit 4th for the moment, and they've been around the playoffs all season, I think.
Oh, they've been brilliant. They remind me of us from last season a bit. Obviously, we were top of the league, but they do remind me.
I think they're a model for us to follow, really. So they're not spending lots of money, are they? They've got a good manager who's built a team over a couple of years. Yeah, got a set way of playing
as well. Actually,
play some nice football. Yeah, that's the way to go.
I thought when we lost Billy Waters, that was a huge blow, because that was one player I was sort of hoping we'd keep over the summer.
Yeah.
And he's finding the net, isn't he, this season?
No, he's had a pre-season behind
14 goals in the league, isn't it? Which is a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
And it's more than any of our strikers combined, isn't it?
I feel like Halifax show a bit of that, where they play really nice brand of football, but they might just miss out. I mean, there's no disrespect in it if they do, because you look at the money that's been spent around them, but might just miss out when it comes to it. All those really nearly seasons that we had last year. But
I don't know if you guys agree with me, but it's one of those you look now and think a point at Halifax would probably be a good result.
Of course it will.
But I think also, though, it's a game where if our key players turn up, it's one that we can definitely get 3 points from.
Every game's winnable in this league, even Stockport. Maybe Stockport, the only team I'm a little bit scared of. It's more if our key players turn up, and if we had just a Sinclair Armstrong and a Sparks again, that I'll be going into this games like we can beat any team in this division.
Yeah, come on, QPR, send him back. Send him back to us. He's not doing anything.
With Johnson as manager, anything is possible.
Got to let him go, I think. I don't think he'll be sitting
No, believe.
All right, we'll do a predictions. Dom, go on. What's your prediction?
I haven't thought about a prediction.
No, I haven't either. That's why I got
Shall I start? I'm going to go 2-2.
You can start, Tom. Just give me just a second to think about it. My brain is very slow.
You're going 2-2, Tom.
I'm going Desmond. I think it'll be 2-2. I think there'll be plenty of chances, end to end, and I think we're more than capable of getting a minimum a point there.
Yeah,
even if they are in good form.
I've got 2 things flashed up. My mind said the hopeful one and the realistic one. So I'm going with the hopeful one. 2-1 Torquay. It's either going to be 2-0 Halifax or 2-1 Torquay. But we're going to they're going to play us off the park, where we're going to nick 2 goals, down it from a set piece or something like that. So I reckon we'll win. And then everyone will be like, hey, the HMS football leagues up again. So I reckon we'll nick a win. Yeah, I reckon we won't deserve to, but we'll nick a win. Not saying we're better than Halifax, so I just think we will.
Oh God, I should have gone first, shouldn't I? You were ending the
you should have done.
Here we go. I'll go for 2-0 to Halifax.
Yeah, I think that's a realistic.
What?
Just got to be realistic.
He told me the other day when I saw him before the Bromley game, he went, "Oh, when the season's over," and he's like, "No, it can't be over. We've got 14 games, season's over, Dom." And now he's sending me like this.
You told me 5-0 before we started recording, eh?
Steady on. I'm just looking at the table. They've conceded what 23 this season.
Okay, no, when you said 4 wins,
we conceded 46. So.
Yeah, but that was when we didn't have McDonald's, so.
Yeah, we got McDonald now.
So the home team, 4th in the league, they were expect to win, weren't they? So
bring back. We've got Lewis back. It'll be fine. It'll all be fine.
Stress and pressure does weird things to teams. Pressure does weird things to teams. So
I'm not saying it'll be a thrashing, but I think they'll probably.
No, I agree. You're probably right. You're probably right. But yeah, thank you for joining me, both of you. I really actually enjoyed this format of having it all in one and having like 3 of us. So if you like it, let us know. And yeah. Thanks for watching.